I think I ought to say, can anybody guess what this is? Not a lot of them around. It's the most immaculate Grandstand Bluebird from 1981. Looks like it's been used as a base station by somebody. You can see where it's had feet. And unusually, they have a DIN socket for the microphone, for the extension speaker socket, and a 12-volt, what you'd call the coaxial type. I think it's a 2.5mm one. Anyway, it's come with the original cable, so we'll take it apart and see what's inside. Now, it's a long time since I've seen one of these, and I do have a circuit diagram, and I'll just have to make myself up a little chart of what's the what. So we've got the circuit, so we'll see what's inside. Well, the quality of these inside, I think, is absolutely fantastic. It's what's it? Hakuto Corporation, Japan. Now, what I don't like the look of is there's a cardboard packet in there, so I don't know what's happened to it, but we'll no doubt get rid of that for them. Looking further at the dangly board that I'm presented with, it turns out it's a Roger K tone. So we'll soon have that removed. It'll feel much better. And something's causing internal interference to the radio. Of course, there's S5 to S7 of residual background noise, and I expect it's that. So we'll soon see what the improvement is when it's removed. Right, well, we have a circuit, as I say. I've made myself a bit of a layout, but I've not been able to fill much in because it's going to be trial and error. The components aren't labelled on the printed circuit, so it's difficult to transfer the numbers on the circuit diagram to the actual components inside the set. So to that end, it's guesstimate time. But it doesn't matter what I upset because I can put it back right with the equipment we have here. It just seems so high quality. I don't know how well these work. I can't remember ever having played with one on the air. Right, so making my little notes here, especially when I have done so. Well, clearly the variable capacitor just there is going to be the frequency, because that's a 10.24 crystal. The variable capacitor there is going to be something to do with the VCO, and that's going to be the VCO, and probably that's going to be the VCO. So I'm not going to touch those three because we don't know what the setup procedure is on this quite unusual set. I don't know if any of you have got a full manual out there, but I certainly don't. So it looks to me, I would expect the lineup of the transmitter to start there. There's another one there, there's another one there, and then I would expect it to go around to those. Now whether or not that is, and the next question is, does it have a core? No. So I'll go into transmit. It's just doing 2.9 watts at the moment, and we'll see what we can bring up from there. Now that's not easy to get to. It's the it's where the bracket is. I'll just get the magnifying glass out to just make sure that that is adjustable. It is, yes. I'll just put a bit of the soldering iron on there because it's got wax on it. Isn't going to move for me. I'll just try the yellow tool. No, definitely the black one. It's moving now. Let's go back into transmit. Moving forwards to that one. So I can't tell you the locations because it's they're not marked. Moving to the next one. Wow, we've got 3 watts out of it now. That did move and then it locked up again as I moved it downwards. Okay, so off camera I've gone through that several times and well, it's doing 3 watts. Well, that's 3 watts on here, but as I've said many times before, 3 watts on here can easily be 5.5 good buddy watts, so it doesn't worry me at all. Okay, we'll move on to the power meter. It's a bar graph display on these. It's lighting all of them. That's a bit naughty because it isn't doing 4 watts. So what I'll knock it down 1, and the power meter is the preset just there at the back. We'll just knock that down. There we go. Now these sets don't have a high-low power switch, which under the rules of MPT 1320 is rather naughty. Presumably Beware, who distributed these, must have done some external power attenuator you could buy as an option to get round that. And the other thing we now need to do is of course the transmit deviation. Now the deviation on here is the preset there, and it is marked DEV for deviation. I'll just switch this other camera on so you can see the right hand oscilloscope and hopefully not too much of my head. I'll just get the oscillator out to do that. Little bit low there. Just do the whistle test to see whether it's right. Oh, it's a little bit high now. Wallow. Wallow. Funny frequency response. Just listen to it on the monitor receiver. Testing 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1 1 2 3 4 5. Wallow. Actually, it's very good. And I'm not surprised because it's got quite a lot of clever electronics in the way the speech is tailored. So that is it. So disappointing 3 watts. It isn't faulty, it's just the way it's designed, and it looks quite a tough kind of output stage. It uses the Mitsubishi 2166 device, and they're capable of sourcing about 9 watts, so the fact it's only doing 3 proves how it's quite well protected in the circuit. So there we go, and the next video will be dealing with the receive.